I've always wanted an aquarium with an infinite current, much like a river would have. So I figured it would be a simple setup, just a long fish tank and a decent canister filter with an intake and an outlet on opposite sides. So with that plan in mind, I started setting everything up right here on my coffee table. I added a filter just to see how much gravel I could add and still be able to fit the hardscape. To start shaping out the hardscape, I tossed in some lava rock and made a slope from left to right. Then I stole some aqua soil from my already established tank, and this will help out the cycling process be a little bit faster. And now I can add my gravel, which is a mix of gray and white pebbles, and start the hardscape with some river stones. And I want to place these in a downward stairway, almost like a waterfall would be. I also picked up some driftwood that was about the same length of the tank, and without having to cut it, it fit really nicely over the stones, and I was able to place them underneath it so it looks like it almost got caught as it was flowing downstream. And here's how that hardscape turned out. I hope I used enough rocks and it fits the shape of the tank real nicely. The next step after filling up the tank was to add plants, but then I noticed that the driftwood was releasing a lot of tannins and it turned the water dark. So I wanted to clean that up before starting with the planting process and just clean up some of the oils that were left from the driftwood. As you can see, the glass was a little bit stained, but I cleaned it up. I also realized that I didn't add enough aqua soil to grow a lot of plants, so I lifted up some gravel and added another layer, and I think this ended up making the tank look a little bit better as well. Alright, so now I can fill it up and actually start planting, and I just stole a few plants from my other tank, and the plan is just to toss them in here and see how they do. Alright, so the filter is set up and running from one end to the other, and I know what you're thinking. Where's that strong river current? And that's what I'm wondering too, but this is attempt number one, and in a way, maybe it's okay for the water flow to be slow right now while the plants get settled in and anchor down their roots so they don't start floating around. And down the line, I'll redesign the system and fix it so that the current is a little bit stronger. So here's the tank after 1 week. There's some biofilm on the surface of the water, lots of debris on the rocks and plants, and I'm not sure what exactly is growing on the driftwood, but the plants are hanging in there and still looking green, so I think we're in good shape. So I gathered about 30 shrimp and released them into the tank, and these guys are notoriously good cleaners. They'll clean 24 hours straight. I'm not really sure if they even sleep. So they should be able to take care of a lot of what's growing on the driftwood and what's on the rocks and plants. So we'll give them some time and see what they can do. And not even 24 hours later, the tank was already looking much cleaner. But of course, I gave them plenty of time to finish the job. And here's what the tank looks like after 1 week. You can see the rocks are perfectly clean and the driftwood has no more secret stuff growing on it. And here's a quick before and after. Alright, so it's been a couple weeks now, and since we still don't have a strong river current, I bought some parts that might help give the tank a boost. It is an intake, an outlet, and an external water pump, along with some clear tubing. And to share the idea with you, I got some footage of this setup, and it should be really simple as long as none of the glass breaks and I connect everything correctly. But once I finished setting everything up, it didn't work because I put the pump on backwards and I had to reconnect it and try it again. And on the second time, it worked perfectly, and I think the pump was able to push quite a bit of water across the tank. So now we officially have a river tank. So these blue shrimp are still the only ones in the tank, and I think they're having a good time. There's quite a bit of them carrying eggs, so we might see some baby shrimp swimming around here soon. And with the addition of the stronger current, I found that the shrimp can still swim upstream pretty quick, and if they don't want to swim, they just walk across the driftwood. And sure enough, those baby shrimp started showing up around the tank. You can see how small they are compared to the adult shrimp. This is the first generation in this tank, and will probably very quickly overpopulate the tank, so I might have to move some out or add some more plants. And here are the new members of the tank. These are a group of 4 very shy Hillstream Loaches. They like a mix of shallow water, river rapids, and relaxing in slower moving streams of water. They really enjoy the river stones in the tank because their bodies are built to grip onto the rocks and withstand strong current. The 4th one still prefers to hide for now, but sometimes they'll come out to spook the baby shrimp, grab a quick bite of algae on the rocks, and then go right back to hiding. I also introduced 3 bamboo shrimp into the tank. These are also great river animals. They have nets as hands and will sit peacefully, catching all their food brought to them by the current of the water. They like to stay camouflaged or hidden during the day and come out at night to some of the better spots for stronger current. The Hillstream Loaches used to be very shy not too long ago, hiding in rocks all the time, but now they are very chaotic. I can't tell if they are being territorial or if this is just their playtime, but the good news is that they get along well with all the shrimp and also with each other most of the time, until they get the zoomies and start doing this. In their defense, they're not like this every day, but they do put on a good show sometimes. So I wanted to see what goes on in the tank after hours when the lights go off, and usually there's a single shrimp who feels brave enough to come out in the open and catch the current right from the source on this main rock. But this time, another shrimp came out to join, and they were both catching current right next to each other on the same rock. And it was cool to see that even though they're the same species, their colors are very different. And the Hillstream Loaches did the exact same thing, except they found even more hiding spots. So it's been 3 months now since the beginning of this tank, and it's gained a lot of new members along the way. Actually, more baby shrimp keep showing up every week. So in hopes to keep the tank balanced, I'll be adding some more plants in here. Some of them small, some of them big, but again, the goal is just to keep the fish comfortable in here with the water not getting too crazy. So hopefully these plants help out. I'm also going to experiment by adding this monstera plant, removing it from the soil and see if the roots take to the water. I'm not 100% sure if this will work. It's an experiment, hence the name of the channel. But I'll do my best to make an update on this later on and share the results, see if this is a good strategy or not. All right, and here are the final results. This was my first river tank, so I'm extremely happy with the way it turned out, and just wanted to say I hope you've enjoyed this video as much as I've enjoyed making it. So thanks for watching.